and was hoping to have Sunday off, but didn't. And I'm sitting on my yoga mat today so I can stretch during the meeting, because sitting in a chair for 2 hours is too much. And who hasn't gone yet? Should I pass it to Nate?
How's it going?
Excellent.
Yeah, I did not hear the question, so if it's just how am I doing, I'm doing really well. So.
And also, what's one thing about you that you do or that you've done that people might not ever guess about you, that they might find surprising?
Probably, I don't know. I did most of my early work in the field of geology, and so I've studied earthquakes for a long time, and I really enjoy that. So, yeah.
Oh, we had earthquakes recently in Croatia here, so you might want to come over and help our guys here.
Yeah, I'll try to do a fault study.
Yeah.
I'll take a look into it, though. But yeah, other than that, looking forward to the meeting.
Okay, I'll pass it for you to Durgadas. We just are going around saying how we're doing, and then somebody might be surprised to find out about you.
Good. I'm still really emotional from the death of my grandfather and all the weird family dynamics that brings up. I was up till 2 a.m. last night, just thinking about all of that. So I'm a little frazzled, to be honest. But glad I'm processing that stuff from my childhood. And you might be surprised to learn that in high school I had an alternate personality that was not just a very shy autistic computer geek, but I was a break dancer. I would sit on the bleachers in the dark until they chanted my name to come down in school dances, and then I would break dance, and then I'd disappear, and I don't think anyone in my high school knew it was the same person as the person who I was most of the time.
Anyone want to take it, or I'll pass it to Phil K. I'm so sorry to hear about that, Durgadas.
Yeah, really sorry to hear this too. Hi guys, nice to meet you all. My name is Philip. I'm from Germany and kind of new in the community. Looking forward to get sorry, I don't understand, but one thing maybe no one would guess or no one knows about me is that I founded once with my sister a dog food business in Guatemala. It was quite exciting. I'm passing on to Santi.
Hello, guys, and I feel sorry for you, Durgadas. I'm not feeling too good today. I don't know if I'm catching a cold. So besides that, which is how I'm feeling, one thing that you may never guess was my first job when I was still a teenager. I was still at school, and my father said, no way, you're spending all the summer doing nothing. So my aunt is a hairdresser, and she owns a hairdress. And Santi became the hairdress guy for a couple of summers. So that was my first job. I'll pass it to Tamara.
Oh dear, I'm not prepared. So I apologize for coming a little late. Something nobody knows about me. Well, it's my middle name, and I'm going to keep it that way. So I'm going to pass to Jessica to pass back to the next person.
I'll pass to Olivia.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing great. And something maybe people don't know about me is I was having alchemy classes with an alchemist that was just out of jail for his alchemical experiments in Egypt. And that was a That was a fun experiment. And I'll pass to Jake.
That's really cool. Like, I could tell stories like that too, that this guy made this thing in his kitchen and then he went to jail and then he showed me how, but it's not alchemy. Oh, that's horrible. I am a horrible person. What's something about me? Okay, I'll say this. It's kind of like Tam's middle name, but I don't care. Through complete accident, I found out that I love the spa. I love going to the spa. I love mud baths. I love the whole nine. I love the little towels and the robes and chilling and getting drinks. I think it's the coolest thing, and now I understand why everybody loves it. I'll pass it back to Jessica.
Pass to Marko.
Thanks a lot, Jess. Well, first, I'm doing great today. Thanks for having me on the call. Well, thing about me, I started skating again at the age of 35, and I went pretty wild. And I also competed in CrossFit. Well, I think that's something you didn't know about me. And I'm still into sports, so yeah. And I pass it on to who didn't go yet?
Craig.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm doing great. And maybe many of you don't know that I'm currently sitting in the corner of my garage staring at my hot water heater fending off my kids. Back to you.
Awesome. And we have one last friend, Sharing Gain. Welcome. Can you hear us? Okay, I'm having trouble understanding, but welcome. Nice to see you today. Well, that was kind of fun. And yeah, thanks everybody for sharing. Very interesting round. It's really fun to get to know you all a little better, for sure. And I'm sure we all have many stories. And this is something Juan brought up in the gravity training the other week, where we got to kind of share a bit of our experience. And this is very cool. And yeah, last note, it's a little bright here because it's pouring snow this morning. So yeah, jumping into the comms session. So just one announcement before we dive in. And I guess while I shared that, if everybody access the Miro board? It was in the general post that I wrote, and also it's in the agenda and notes. So if you want to go ahead and sign in to the Miro board, it's that link and password there, because that's the first thing we're going to do is a collaborative wordplay session. So if you want to go ahead and log in. In the meantime, I'll just share the main update for the communications working group. So Marko is joining us today. A lot of you might know Marko from his graphic design wizardry with the Common Stack, and he works with a lot of cool projects. Oh, hey, Griff.
Hey, guys.
Yikes, where's the link for the Miro board?
It's in both the post where I announced the call and TEC general channel, and it's also in the comms call agenda notes. So if everybody wants to go ahead and sign into that. And Griff, you missed the question and I want to hear from you. How are you doing today? And what is one thing that somebody might never guess about you that you've done or experienced or that you do? What might like shock people to learn about you?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I retired like 10 years ago and never really went back. I don't know. But I work continuously, but I consider myself retired. And as far as how I'm doing today, great. Just call to call, but always fun and excited to see the comms in the TEC.
Cool. Well, feel free to take a breath, and we're just going to do some fun thing on the Miro board for the first half of the meeting, so it should be a little more relaxed for you. Cool. So yeah, while everybody's accessing the Miro board, the big thing I wanted to share is Marko is joining us because we are going to become kind of co-stewards of this group. Marko is going to support with the sprint planning and project management to help to coordinate better some of the tasks. This is like a huge work. We have internal communications, we have external, we have like 8 different platforms that we're managing. So yeah, so that will be really awesome to have him here. We're really grateful for him like wanting to take on more and support and coordinating our efforts. So that's the main thing. So yeah, today I had planned doing a bit of an exercise, and for some of you who are kind of newer or maybe haven't joined communications before, we kind of did the official kickoff last September, although we've been building much longer than that. But since then, we are kind of now revisiting like our purpose, mission, why are we here, and communicating that as leading up to the hatch. So we've been working on some content and things, but I thought it would be cool to get some collective intelligence on our tagline, so like our one-liner. So I'm gonna share my screen, and if everybody can see the Miro board here. So last week, if you weren't here, we did a really cool exercise where we did the aliens have landed, and the premise was, this was an exercise from Tamara, that aliens have landed, you can only show a picture or a symbol to explain what we're doing here in the TEC. So everybody came up with these really cool photos, and I took some notes on the words that they used. So this kind of got the creative juices flowing for the, you know, why are we here and what are we doing? And this week, I'm working on the why article, which I'm going to integrate some feedback from Griff, and then hope to publish that today or tomorrow as one step in this direction of like, you know, different ways to talk about what we're doing and kind of get more aligned and focused. So I made this board with a bunch of sticky notes. So this is something I just kind of thought made up. So we're going to go through it and see how we flow here. My intention in doing this together is to spend maybe about 30 minutes max to go through this. So the first part is like, I was brainstorming because Jake and Marko and I are working on the website right now. So I kind of just blurted out on these top stickies here, lines. And it's less about the lines that this is the line, but more about the kind of language that's in there. So I'm going to overview the exercise and then tell you when to jump in. So the first part, I was looking at some of these thoughts, and then on the corresponding colored stickies, pulling out the words you like or the language that you like in each of these, if you like anything, and maybe you don't like any of them. Or if you don't like any of them, you can skip to the orange section. And the orange section is for like words that you think are really good to describe what we're doing. You can even rework some of this language into something on the orange. It's kind of like a draft section. So this one's like pulling out any words or language that you like. This orange section is like anything that's not in here, words that you think are important that describe what we do in the TEC. And then in the green section, maybe everybody can work once they see the language that people like and get some of the feedback, you can craft a one-liner. So it's like the tagline that describes the TEC. And just for some background, in the kickoff article, you know, you can see here that this was originally like this is kind of, the TEC is like a brainchild or baby of the Common Stack and token engineering. So a lot of the language was very much Common Stacky. It was about like, you know, public goods and social impact and using all of this technology that any community could come and build a commons. But the TEC is focused specifically on token engineering and open source toolkits and education, specifically for token engineering. So it needs to convey that, you know, we're basically pooling resources, we're stewarding this, we're funding, and then there's one more piece. I had written what kind of projects are we going to fund, and this got a little more clear. So basically, you know, we're going to be funding open source tools and research, education, and we basically want to spread token engineering. So with that being said, we can jump into this, and let's do let's go ahead and try for 5 minutes on this first section if you want to start. The first 5 minutes on this section and or the orange section. And feel free while you're writing, if any reflections or thoughts come up, to share with us what you're feeling. But if you want to go ahead and jump in, I'm going to set the clock right now for 5 minutes and go crazy on the board, and let me know if you have any questions. Does this make sense? Anybody want to give me a thumbs up or a yeah? Okay, cool. Thank you guys.
Is there a what the password is for the Miro?
Yes, it's very secure. It's token engineering, all one word, capital T, capital E.
Thank you.
Sure. Just one more note. I'm noticing some people are kind of writing what we're doing, and that's good. But this is like, you know, a one-liner. Like if we could only say one like super punchy line of what we're doing, and why we're here, that would be attractive to people. Kind of like a motto. And maybe people have examples that they can think of like really good lines, even for like, you know, corporation or something. If anybody has any thoughts about like a really good tagline that they've heard, or
Jess, what is the second column for? The orange one?
the orange one is for any language that's not in the other stickies that you think is really important that goes into the tagline. Or you can comment on like what kind of language you like. Like if you like it, for example, you know, for me, I really like the word stewarding. I feel like this really sets it apart, and it gives that common vibe. So you can write like, you know, you feel really strongly that this kind of language is in it, or a specific word that you feel really like resonates and is the right vibe that we want to put out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, just one more minute here to wrap up your work and notes. Okay, 15 seconds. Okay, mouse is down, virtual pencils down. Okay, so I'm going to start a round of sharing for the next like 3 minutes, and then we'll move into the last phase. So does anyone want to share or feel very strongly about something that came up for them while we were going through this process? Let's see. Let's call on Metaverde. Do you want to share something? Then pass it, or people can take it.
Yeah, I'll end up passing it back to you, I'm sure. So what I think is really super important about what we're doing here is that the whole DAO and blockchain space is creating dual power structures through innovations in economics and governance. And what's super important about doing this on the blockchain is that it can't be taken down. We're doing it in a permanent, nonviolent way. I don't know how to put all of that into one line, but what ends up happening when people try to have like a peaceful takeover or kind of push violent governance out of the way is that we get taken down because it's a physical thing, or even on the internet, like people can just wipe out servers or whatever. But when we have things on the blockchain, it's permanent and it can't be removed. And I don't know how to get all of that into one sentence. But creating dual power structure so there's something in place that's not violent and that does account for everybody. And I feel super strongly about that. And those are the projects I'm going into. And I'll let you pass it, Jess. Go ahead.
Would you say maybe like resilient is a word that could capture that?
Resilient power structures?
Just the word resilient. If we had to put it into one word.
No.
No. Okay.
I'm not uncontrovertible.
Okay.
Or incontrovertible.
Yeah, if you want to put that in the orange section, just that one word,
okay,
would be awesome. And then Phil K, did you have any?
Yeah. So one thought. I'm quite new, but I thought like maybe something like I am fairly distributing power, because kind of just tokens as access rights, and kind of you need to work for what you're getting, and then like the system should make sure that everyone who contributed value also gets a share of the created value. So I think it's maybe more fair power and value distribution than in traditional systems.
Okay. Livia, did you have any new thoughts coming up? Because you kind of oversaw the process of like vision and mission, and you've seen this evolution. Is there anything new thoughts you have, or do you like?
Yeah, I thought of meta economy, because it feels like it's the underlying economy that, if it's robust, will build so many other economies, like the toolkit for economies kind of thing.
It's really cool. I like that a lot. Han, did you want to say something?
I also yes, I also connected an idea from the chapter that we were reading for today on the DAO book club of governing the commons, and there is a whole section that talks about evaluating benefits, and I wrote that. She is saying that in order to promote institutional change, it's important to evaluate the benefits of proposed rules. So I think I like really a lot this phrase, information about net benefits of alternative rules, because I think it's somewhat what we're doing. We are modeling, we are gathering information about the benefits of these rules and institutions that are new, and that we are still to see all the benefits and all the costs and all the and all the information to take a decision for the institutional change and to make endurance in the TE field. Those were the two that I wrote: endurance for the TE field, because it's also related to the work that we are doing in the SoftGov part of the TEC, that is to promote endurance between the relationship.
Can I go? I don't know if you guys hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
Go.
I was, when I was writing, I had some ideas in my mind, but after reading all the notes from everyone, I tend to think that we are all here because we are building something, and the technology, it doesn't really matter. The technology is just the medium that we are using. It's a great technology, but we are building a completely new way to collaborate, to create an economy, to create value, and we're building those tools. And that's we're doing it from different areas, but the underlying is the technology, the blockchain technology, and all the benefits that brings. But what we are doing is just building the tools for anyone who wants to build their own economy to have them and do it, and forget about the ways that traditional economy has been dealing with value up till today. Give these tools, create these tools, so anyone who decides they want to create a new economy, they can do it. So I don't know exactly how to express that in a one-liner, but that's the idea I got.
A new way to build economies. That's pretty one line. And Griff, yeah, I'm curious. Go for it.
I feel like there's this real challenge that we have in giving a really strong identity to the token engineering commons that's not the common stack, and it's a challenge because the common stack is like and the token engineering commons, it's like two missions, but they're different, right? So like the common stacks mission is exactly what Santi said, where it's like, let's make it so anyone can build these economies, you know? And honestly, because the common stack's influence on the token engineering commons, I think the token engineering commons is moving slower than it would if the common stack wasn't supporting because we're putting in all this effort to make the creation of the token of a commons repeatable and easy. But that is not the mission of the token engineering commons. The token engineering commons is our first user, and they're helping us. They're helping the common stack design the commons setup. But it's very important that we begin to really differentiate here, and I think build a wall between the common stacks mission and the TEC's mission. Because while we're doing two missions at once with the Token Engineering Commons, the TEC mission is about advancing the field of token engineering. And I think it's important that we really double down on that piece, which of course supports the Commons Stacks mission. And if there's more token engineering resources, then people can build better economies like around public goods. But we want to be making it easy for people in the crypto space, whether it's about public goods or not, to do token engineering. And I think we have to start having a critical eye about like a lot of this stuff in the mirror board, which is like, a bleeding edge tech to save the world. There's a lot of things like that are along those lines, that like responsible ethical creation of public goods. These are Common Stack missions, and I think we will benefit from separating that out.
Yeah, this is great. And I've heard this many times from you, Griff. I think, what the community still doesn't see, because we're at the center of trying to separate these narratives. So I think that's why I'm coming and getting some reflections is, yes, I'm seeing people still have this kind of mix. Yes, we're all here because we really care about using, DeFi for good, impact, and all these things. But for the TEC, our mission is specifically to advance the field of token engineering. And maybe, that's a very maybe kind of more straightforward one-liner, but how can we say advancing the field of TE that encapsulates, like, I also don't want to just say funding, because we're much more than just another DAO that's like a funding organization. So that's why I had thought maybe stewarding, the next generation of, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the effect of what we're doing, but really what we're doing is accelerating token engineering. So what is kind of like a cool way that encapsulates like the cultural work that we're doing, the fact that we are funding, we're mainly a funding organization, we're stewarding funds and governing this together. But maybe now we can take this next step now that we've heard from Griff. And yeah, we kind of want to draw a bit of a line here. Like, we want it to be something exciting where people say like, yeah, of course we all want to save the world. But the mission is about pooling resources and pooling, funds, launching this token economy so that we can support token engineering as an emerging field. So maybe now we can go to the green stickies. And now with this understanding, form a one-liner that you think makes sense, looking at some of the different language here. And maybe if you don't have or feel you can encapsulate that, maybe you can take a star and put it on a sticky that you really like. Or maybe, maybe we should take a minute or two to separate stuff that we feel is like, for example, let's see, real world application, this might not really be a TE mission or thing. So maybe if some people want to take stickies and put them at the bottom that don't really fit, that are more like Common Stack or more, less focused on TE. And then if some people have something really strong that they feel as a one-liner, you can put it on a green sticky, or you can move some stars around and highlight some of the ideas that you think really resonate. And I'm open for feedback. I just kind of made up this exercise. So we're co-creating together. So if anybody has any ideas or thoughts around a better process, but I'll give a few options there. And Jake, I don't know if you want to comment. We've kind of been, kind of throughout this TFI thing a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if people like that. We obviously don't want to, it's not like we want to insult DeFi, but, moving from DeFi to TFI has become kind of a little thing. Just saying, we need more robust engineering and holistic systems design. So,
Well, I thought it was cool. I thought DeFi Legos was really cool.
but
Griff,
yeah, and I
do you like DeFi Legos? That seems pretty token engineering.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, DeFi Legos.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, I mean,
we're not funding, funding the build of or something, but we're more than funding. I guess that's where I'm stuck. Is like, I don't want to just say we're funding. I like accelerating.
Yeah, I mean, with the DeFi Legos, it's like DeFi design Legos is something we would fund, right? We wouldn't necessarily if Badger came in and said, "Hey, can you help us like fund the creation of this new rebase token or something?" It's like we'd be like, "No," but if you want to do a model around it that everyone can use and copy and interact with, like that's cool.
So yeah, I don't know, Griff, if you had any of these stickies up here at the top, if you had any stars you want to put on those, or any of the language that you like pooling and stewarding resources to accelerate the field of token engineering. That's kind of long. This is kind of what we're doing, pooling and stewarding resources to accelerate the field of token engineering for collective benefit. That's what we're doing, but that's like a mouthful. So how do we turn that into something more punchy? And I don't know, Griff, if you had any thoughts on like these top stickies here.
Can I jump in quickly?
Absolutely.
Sorry, my connection has been in and out, but I hope it stays now. So I apologize if anyone's already mentioned this. But, while Santi was talking about what we're doing and what we're building, it got me thinking about, what the vision of token engineering is and why token engineers are researching and building. And it's all about a future, a future that we want to see. And I think that could be a very nice focus for us in terms of a short one-liner.
Like building for a better future or something like that, you mean?
Yeah, I tend to agree with both. Like, I also got inspired by Santi when he was talking, and I also agree with Griff with the correlation with the common stack. And I think we should I'm looking at it like we should not think about how are we going to achieve that and put that in a tagline, because how are we going to achieve that and what we're what tools are we going to be using? It doesn't matter. Like, what is the end state? What is the goal that we try to achieve? And what is that the DEC like what is everything like? I was thinking about like not sure how to best express this, but like DEC for me, it's more than just building those design patterns and tools and whatnot. So the technology, but actually, everything that comes out of the DEC is a side product with, with all these working groups like legal and transparency and SOFCAB and all these kind of stuff that these working groups to come out of those. The way we cooperate, collaborate, work together, we will build some patterns there as well, and people will be able to reuse those as well. And those are not just strictly token engineering, if you know what I'm saying. So how we work together, how we approach problem solving, how we do stuff, plus token engineering, I think we should focus on that as well and try to somehow encapsulate that in a one-liner. But I didn't figure it out yet.
Patterns for a better future.
Yeah, I resonate with sorry, Jess. I resonate with Marko, and the liner that I wrote was blooming the token engineering economy, because what we are doing is pushing it forward, is helping every single project that we think it's going to add to token engineering and pushing it all together. We're voting and deciding because we think we will choose those that we all as a group think that have more value for others to come, if that block is built and it succeeds building it. So my vision is that what we are doing in token engineering is pushing for whole token engineering economy, and again, not just with technology, but also with gravity, with the group, with legal, with all the groups, all the areas that we're pushing. Of course, the tools that you end up seeing are the technological tools, okay? But people's coming to us because they want to implement source cred. Today, Sebnem came to me and said, hey, we may want to implement source cred in the book. And she required me to go and give them a talk and see if it's worth for them to implement source cred, okay? And this is just because we are implementing it here. And some other group may come and say, hey, we want to deal with all the conflict management that you guys have been dealing on Token Engineering Commons because we think it's valuable for us too. So there's a bunch of value on top of just the technical stuff.
Yeah.
I think also we're hitting like a critical issue that exists since the beginning, that what is token engineering, how to define what belongs to token engineering, what is in the scope. And I think that's what we're starting to discuss with Shabnan on Working Group 0, where the objective is to create a list of questions to make a type form and reach out to many token engineers that are in many token projects. So I think we're like slowly gathering this understanding too. And there are more instances of creating an economy than just the token itself, the technology, like Marko and Santi were saying. So I think we're all exploring this. So I think it's cool, everything that comes to this board. I don't know if nothing can be like totally excluded yet.
Are we creating an economy, or are we creating a system of developing tokens? I mean, it sounded like Griff, from what you were saying, that it's more values neutral and about developing tokens, like, you know, token engineering, right? It's not about saving the world or being the best people we can be. It's about, but that's common stack. And so token engineering commons is about getting all the token engineers together to share resources. Am I missing?
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I mean, it's like, what do token and people who are designing economies, what do they actually need to design safe economies that people can use? I mean, I do think that on the level of token engineering, there is this idea that like these crypto economic systems that are being created are public infrastructure, and they need to be designed in a safe way because anyone can interact with them. And it's like building a shitty bridge. And if you build a shitty bridge and people cross it and get hurt, you know, like, who's the asshole? Probably you. You know, like.
Right. So you mean making by safe? You're talking about like preventing rug pulls and being transparent what the tokens will actually do, right?
Yeah, and also being able to validate your design. That's
Right,
the real
right.
token engineering piece. Like
Okay.
the rug pull thing is a little harder, but
Okay. So but by safe you don't mean that the communities, or that the token okay, so I'm not saying that Token Engineering Commons isn't an inclusive group in what we're doing, but what we're engineering doesn't have to be inclusive, right? Because we're talking about the actual token part, and Common Stack is the section that's dealing with like the inclusivity and empowering people, and that the token engineering is about making sure the tokens are responsibly engineered. Am I right?
yeah,
Am I
and that's,
missing?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. I mean, I would say that there is like this idea of token engineering being accessible and being that that it is inclusive. That, I mean, the things that I hope the Token Engineering Commons would fund are things that are, you know, open source and accessible to anybody and can, you know, push the industry forward. So like, okay, like there was Dig recently from Badger, and it's like, what is the rebase percent? How does this work? You know, like no one has a clue. You almost have to just wait and see what happens. You know, and that's not necessarily the dream. You know, there should be standards around rebase tokens where normal people can understand what's going to happen. You know, and there's going to be so many more things like that hopefully the Token Engineering Commons could provide resources that would help people make it accessible and make it easy to understand these things.
Well, for me, based on what Griff kind of talks about, and a lot of my participation revolves around, you know, I'm aware that, for example, there are a group of sort of social justice lawyers who are trying to overturn precedent of law that was laid down 100 years ago, or 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, or 300 years ago. It seems to me that if we're in Griff's metaphor about building a bridge, and that's on us, you know, if we build tools which then later somebody has to spend a lot of time on doing because it was set up in a way which wasn't fair to some particular group of people, that's and the fact that this cultural build exists seems to me that that is an opportunity to prevent that kind of thing. And I think what sort of Gravity and some of these other things that we're doing internally are designed to help us see into the future in that regard. So for me, the fairness component is kind of a crucial thing, although I don't know how to say that inside of the nifty things I've written.
See, that's something that I think I'm confused about, because then it gets back into saving the world and emphasizing community, you know.
Well, the emphasizing of community, I mean, these are socioeconomic systems. So we can't just, it's not just about token models. It's also
Right.
like, are the people actually informed about the token model? Like, do they know what's going to happen? Do we have expectations? Like, you know, I could just copy OneHive's model and deploy it. And if I don't have a vision, mission, and these other things, then the token is not well engineered, really, because it's not just about the token. It's about, you know, the value you're creating and the people that are going to be involved. And I mean, there's just a lot of social pieces as well.
Well, right, but OneHive's about creating a better world and banking the unbanked and pulling in people from the edges who don't have access to DeFi tools and things like that. You know, and banking the unbanked is actually somewhere in one of our statements, you know, and that's not really what token engineering is about. So like OneHive and token engineering or Token Engineering Commons are actually very different in the attempted scope.
I know Wonka keeps wanting to talk, but I keep interrupting him. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You're muted, Wonka.
That and just pasted the one that I wrote in the green. Okay.
Oh no, I guess you weren't muted. There's just crazy lag.
Am I muted? No, am I muted? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. That I think that I can paste that I just pasted this information about net benefits of alternative rules in the green section, because
Well, you should just keep talking, Wonka. Like, there's a lag, but we're patient.
nothing. That I think that this quote from Ostrom of information about net benefits of alternative rules can fit really well, because we are building a lot of information to make more robust the TE field. And we are building this information to promote the benefits of certain systems, and to also, we are making these parameters and modeling these systems to make information so that the decision taking is more informed and we can make better decisions. So I think
Okay, I'm not sure if I think you're finished, Juan. Sorry, I'm not sure. Okay, cool. There's a bit of a connection issue, but yeah. So we're pretty much at the top of the hour here, and definitely we're in the process as we, we're kind of revisiting this. So yeah, I think this is interesting, and I hope everybody found this valuable to hear some different reflections. And I know I did, as I go into working on wrapping a few things this week. So thank you everybody for your inputs, and I super appreciate your time. And till next time, reach out if there's anything specific that you would like to contribute on. Marko is going to be organizing. So yeah, feel free to reach out to myself or Marko. And next week we'll be focused back on the kind of like GitHub and looking at what are the projects that are going on. So thank you guys. And if you want to join Livia in SoftGov, it's happening right now on the SoftGov channel.